Hi, I'm L.M.Shapiro. I'm an interventional cardiologist from Papworth Hospital in Cambridge, and I'm standing outside the University Teaching Hospital in Lusaka here in Zambia. I'm here because Papworth Hospital, one of the leading heart hospitals in the UK, has set up a charity, Papworth in Africa, to bring the life-changing skills of interventional cardiology and surgery to the people of Zambia. This is a hospital where time seems to have stood still. Wherever you look, the facilities and equipment come from another age, and the state of general disrepair is desperately obvious. But it is also a hospital of incredible dedication and commitment. The fighting spirit and the obvious care that comes from all who work here shines through above all else. There are three main diseases that are endemic in Zambia: HIV/AIDS, malaria and heart disease. While there are a number of projects aimed at helping those with HIV and malaria, there are few aimed specifically at trying to combat heart disease. One of the main diseases we see here in Zambia no longer exists in the UK and other first world countries, namely rheumatic fever. Rheumatic heart disease is caused by contracting rheumatic fever, which is an immunological reaction to a simple bacterial sore throat. This disease causes extensive damage to heart valves, which then leads to heart failure. Currently, this hospital has a waiting list of 273 known cases of heart disease, 2/3 of which are children. The vast majority of these are due to rheumatic fever. None of these patients can currently be treated in Zambia. Let me take you on a walk around the main areas of the hospital. You can see how much needs to be done. For example, the ceilings. This is where you come after your heart surgery. You can see that there's no piped oxygen, central suction, central monitoring, and also the ventilators, the sister told me, are unreliable, and that means somebody couldn't breathe after their heart surgery. For the theatre sister in charge, Mabel Simulchimba, the conditions she and her colleagues are forced to work under are extremely stressful.
We have problem with proper ventilation. It's very hot, and when you sweat, that sweat will drop in the patient's wound, and then the patient can get an infection. So it's really hot. Some surgeons would even get a wet gauze and wrap it around their forehead just to prevent that.
This is a basic operating room. It lacks many of the amenities that one would want to have present when one undertook cardiac surgery. Firstly, there is general disrepair of the facility, which of course increases the risk of infection. In modern operating theatres, there's sophisticated air handling, not only to cool, but also to filter the air, prevent infection. And we would need basic equipment, such as an anaesthetic machine, suction, diathermy, central monitoring, all of which would have to be purchased to make this into a functioning operating theatre to do cardiac surgery. Dr. John Kachimba is the clinical head of the Department of Surgery. He has a particular concern for the children at this hospital.
With regard to heart disease, we are not well equipped at all at present. If you look at our children, we don't have a pediatric cardiac surgeon on staff. So all the children with heart disease that require surgical intervention have to be sent out of the country. When you look at adult patients with heart disease, the current team we have in the department only does closed cases. We do not have a surgeon to perform open heart surgery, so a large number of our patients as well that require open heart surgery will have to leave the country and get treatment outside. Another drain on the ministry's resources, and as expected, not every one of them will be able to go at the appropriate time.
To solve these problems, Papworth in Africa aims to provide future cardiologists with the knowledge and equipment that will enable them to diagnose more cases of heart disease and improve their skills of intervention and cardiac surgery. Talented young doctors will be trained by Papworth Hospital to become the consultants of the future in Zambia, giving them the skills and independence to run their own training programs in Lusaka. This, plus the improved facilities that Papworth and Africa will provide, will mean that this hospital will become a chance of life for so many who are currently dying needlessly. Behind me here you'll see patients who have severe heart disease. If I was in Cambridge today, I would be asking my surgeons to operate on these patients in the next couple of days. Sadly, these poor people are not going to get that type of treatment. They may be treated medically, but they're not going to have the surgical intervention that will return them to their normal lives. Personally, I feel very sad that these patients' lives are ruined for the lack of the procedure that may cost as little as £500. Dorothy Malasha is a 46-year-old widow with 13 children. Because of rheumatic fever causing heart disease, her independence, security and ability to contribute to her community have all been stolen away from her. If it weren't for the lack of facilities at this hospital, Dorothy would be able to have a half-hour procedure that would mean she would be able to walk out of the hospital and lead a productive and meaningful life again. As it is, Dorothy's condition will steadily deteriorate. She will be unable to support her family and will die of this preventable disease. Ungon Ola Amon is a junior resident medical officer at this hospital. He is one of the young doctors who will stand to benefit from this project.
It's quite difficult to treat such a huge number of patients, especially when some of them will require surgery or surgical interventions of some kind. But we are incapacitated because we are unable to do that. So it's quite frustrating because we do give medication, but it can only work so far. And at some point, we end up losing some of our patients. It can be quite frustrating, actually. Yeah.
For Ungonola and the other doctors, Papworth and Africa will become an important boost to sagging morale and help change a situation of frustration and despair into one of hope. It will empower Zambian doctors for Zambian people and give them a real chance to save the lives of the people in their care.
It would be the answer, basically, we're looking for to help these patients. If we can have the right facilities and the right clinical training to help these patients and intervene at an early stage, it would really help a lot of these our patients.
Dr. Peter Mwaba has been working at the hospital for nearly 20 years. As the managing director, he believes it's the project's emphasis on sustainability that sets it apart from any other endeavour.
That is the most exciting part of the program. If you look at the links that we have had before, part of the reason they have failed is that you have not trained locals to take over those programs. And without training locals, it means you are treading a very thin line. In the event that your donor pulls out, it means things will go back to what they were before. So we are quite excited by this unique opportunity that might involve training some of our young doctors to a level where they can be able to handle the cases locally. And this is quite different because you are developing local capacities whilst alleviating the problem as is now. So we will be achieving something that we have failed to achieve in the past.
There are many Dorothy Malashas in Zambia, probably more than we could ever estimate. But there is hope. There's hope to build a heart unit in this hospital, and there's hope to train young doctors in Zambia. This is incredibly important work that we want to undertake, and with your help we can achieve it.